So thanks much for everyone being here. And I know we'll have a few folks joining as we continue on. But thanks for joining us on today's session of MI Med, or MI in Medicine and Healthcare. And this is the story section where we have an opportunity to share what we're learning and what we're doing with both motivational interviewing and as well health coaching and obviously the healthcare setting or in the field of medicine. And I'm Jody Herford, and I will be your host for today. And I do want to acknowledge all the behind the scenes help from a number of folks, Dr. Stephen Cole, who's just coming on now, I know, and Dr. Heather Austin, and as well, a newest member of our team, Michael C., who's been super helpful in planning and looking at future deliveries. So we are looking forward to 2025 that is great and has a lot of fun content, which today is absolutely one of those for sure. But before we jump into today's agenda, I do want to take just a brief moment to also acknowledge the people of Los Angeles, the first responders, firefighters, the heroes, the volunteers, all the helpers, and all that have been so severely impacted by the ravage of the fires. Our collective hearts go out to you. And I know that people from around the world are holding you so very close in this time of loss. And for those of you who may be new to MI Med, which is MI in Medicine and Healthcare, just a quick introduction to our group. We're a rather loosely organized group of folks that are interested in and also practicing both MI and coaching in the healthcare and medical field. MI Stories, which is this session, we host every other month and really bring together people and presenters and stories looking at how folks are integrating and implementing both motivational interviewing and coaching into their healthcare practices. So we're always looking for folks that might be interested in presenting, or you've got a suggestion for possibly a presentation or a speaker. Please let us know. I'll put my email in the chat, or Michael, you can put your email in the chat and send on. And also, if you haven't already signed up for the MI Med mailing list, this is just something we'll send out an email every couple of months letting you know what stories are going to be shared on the next session. So I'll put that link in there as well if you haven't already signed up for the mailing list. But we're very, very fortunate today to have both Amy Warshawski and as well Betsy Salkind presenting on improv and coaching and challenging us and encouraging us in our improv skills. And whenever I think about improv, I think about uncertainty, unplanned, unscripted, which sounds an awful lot like coaching and motivational interviewing conversations. You sometimes don't really know what's going to be coming next. And there's a need to be very present and to be able to listen and to hear what's being said between the words. And it's almost like building a resilience to the unexpected. So become more comfortable with the unexpected. And Betsy and Amy are the co-founders and principals of BNA Mentor Coaching. And I'll also put their link in the chat so that you have that reference if you're not familiar with that. But they deliver really experiential learning through individual, group, and corporate team trainings and workshops. And they offer a number of different improv for coaches courses and a number of other helpful gatherings that you'll see when you go to the website. They also have a new book coming out, which I hope you'll talk a little bit about. And I'll put that link in there for folks to be able to check in with Betsy and Amy, and you can reach them through the website as well. A couple of brief bios. They asked me to shorten them, but you got to know they come from just a depth and a breadth of experience to what they're bringing to us today. And I had the great opportunity of working with both Betsy and Amy in a health coach training program that we ran for a number of years. So feels like not only colleagues but deep friendships have been formed. So with Betsy, before becoming a health coach, and she's credentialed through both Mayo and as well the National Board. Betsy worked for a couple of decades as a professional stand-up comedian. Credits include The Tonight Show with Jay Leno, Showtime's Fierce Funny Women, and also as a television writer with Roseanne, Saturday Night Special. She has an undergraduate degree from MIT, a master's in organizational studies from the Sloan School of Management, and Betsy's taught health empowerment courses for high school students and improvisation at MIT, Emerson College, AMDA, group homes, corporations, and specifically for coaches. Betsy believes creativity, curiosity, and humor are essential to great coaching and teaching, and she strives always to bring them to the work that she does. And Amy. Amy as well comes with really strong certifications and has helped many individuals and groups across a wide variety of industries to strategize next steps in their professional and personal lives, transition with clarity and ease, and express themselves with resolve as they stand certain and strong in their beliefs. She's held numerous corporate, not-for-profit, and coaching positions over the last 25 years. And in addition to working with private, corporate, and group coaching clients, she was an adjunct professor at Bloomfield College in New Jersey and led a pro bono coaching initiative for the International Coach Federation Foundation. She has an undergraduate degree from Cornell and a master's in journalism from Northwestern University, and is a nationally board certified coach and ICF master certified coach. So I know that was probably more than you wanted me to say, but those backgrounds bring so much to what we're going to be doing today. So I would like to turn it on over to both of you, Betsy and Amy. Thanks so much for being here.
Thanks, Jody. And thank you to everyone else for having us. We are so delighted to be here. We're going to jump right into it. By way of introduction, I'm going to say that, as Betsy always says to me, every conversation is improvised, and this is about flexing our muscles and practicing the art of improvisation. So we are ready for whatever comes. Today, we're going to improvise around one of MI's core skills, which is reflecting. And this is not a way to coach, and it's not a way to do MI, but what we're offering you is a learning environment in a way that is very low stakes, or we hope it'll be low stakes. That's our goal. So we're going to start off with a warm-up together in the main room, and then we're going to send you out to do some practice in breakout rooms. And we're going to demo first. So before we send you out into the room, we will demo for you so you'll know exactly what you're going to be doing. And if you don't, you'll improvise. Betsy, I'm going to hand it over to you so we can get going.
Thank you. So we are really focusing on reflections today, which probably you all know about, but if you don't, you're going to learn about it right now. But it's the core of active listening. And before we do our warm up around that skill, I want to just invite everyone to type into the chat. When you are reflecting with clients or patients, what are you listening for? So what types of things do you reflect? Yeah, great list here. And whatever can be useful for the person kind of sums it all up. But values, emotion, deeper meanings, change talk, goals, strengths. Yeah, hopes.
Ambivalence, I think, is another one.
What is, Amy?
Ambivalence.
Mm-hmm. Yes, definitely. Ambivalence, also discrepancy, beliefs, perhaps. So, and there are many more things, but it sounds like everybody here knows. So we're going to jump right into the warm-up. And I learned this technique, which is called reflections batting practice, from a Mint trainer named Suzanne Alfandari, who came and did continuing education for the group of coaches that I worked for in a health tech company. So, and it was a real gift. So we're going to do it now. There is no order to this, and we invite as many of you as would like to offer reflection. So Amy and I are going to take turns being the client. We're going to offer a client statement, and we're just looking for as many different possible reflections to that. So we'll start out with this one.
Hey, Betsy, one quick question. Sorry, just should they put it in the chat? Should they raise their hands? What do you think?
Unmute and say it out loud, because I think how we say things matters as well. Or raise your hand, either way. Maybe raise a hand since there are quite a few of us. Thanks, Amy.
Yeah.
Okay, so here's the first one. I've tried everything. I just don't think it's possible. Gary.
You're kind of at the end of your rope.
Charlene.
I hear frustration.
What else?
You're feeling helpless right now.
Sorry, go ahead. Jody and then Ashley.
You're determined to find a solution.
Ashley.
Well, hers was so much better, but you're feeling helpless right now.
Marion.
You're really tired of trying.
All right, let's do another one. Amy, you want to give us a line?
I had the best weekend. I was with my kids. We laughed so hard.
Christina.
You feel recharged.
Marion.
You're really connected with your kids and you want to have more of these moments.
Important for you to have good moments with your family.
Gary, did I see your hand?
You experienced joy this past weekend.
Okay, I'll do another one. My doctor says if I don't quit eating pizza, I'm going to lose a foot, and I think he's full of it.
You have absolutely no concerns about your diet.
Not convinced it's true.
I think I saw Barbara unmuted. Barbara?
Barbara, I think the connection's not great, so go ahead and put
Thank you. Sounds like pizza is one of your favorites.
Right. What else? Charlene and then Ashley.
How much do you value that foot?
That's a great question, Charlene. Turn it into a reflection.
Hmm. No, it's still a question. I'm trying to think of how to say it.
You have no concerns about losing your foot.
I don't like it that way though. I didn't want to, I think the way the question was being more improv, you know what I'm saying, and trying to come across a certain way. And then when I turn it the other way, it sounds too harsh, and I didn't want that. So I'd have to think about that later. Just pass.
All right. Marion, and then Gary.
And Ashley.
You can't imagine it can be that bad.
It's kind of like the pizza's more important than your foot.
Mhm.
That's incredibly hard, a hard message to hear.
Mhm. Great. Stephen.
You and your doctor are walking horns on this.
Mhm. Great, great. So we're going to do one more, and this time I'm going to invite someone here to share what is a statement that a patient or client has made that was a real stumper that you really didn't know how to respond to.
We're coming up with a statement. I'm sorry. You're asking us for statements
Yes.
that troubled us.
Yeah, just one, and then we'll all jump in on it.
I have no interest in losing weight.
Okay,
and
great.
making a plan.
I have no interest in losing weight and making a plan. Great. Marion.
Oh, did I raise my hand?
Oh, no, you unmuted, so I thought maybe
Oh, sorry.
we're reflecting.
I can try anyway.
Yeah.
Losing weight is not important to you.
What else?
Ashley.
Yeah, I already said that. Like if I've reflected and then they say that, that's always stumped me.
Okay. Charlene.
Losing weight is not a priority right now.
I have no interest in cutting down on my drinking.
Oh, you're giving us a new one. Okay.
Sorry. I just felt so inspired. I'm thinking back to my real patients and the times that I was really stymied. Oh my God.
So you're prepared for what that means. What else?
You like your alcohol.
You can't imagine what it would be like if you were to stop drinking.
You seem drunk right now. I'm kidding. That was a joke. All right, let's do one more that from you all, and then we'll shift into our next thing. One more. Actually, you know what? Everybody's great with this. I think we're ready to.
Should we shift now?
Yes, but before we do that, just want to ask, what did you notice in that exercise? What was useful about doing that exercise? Gary.
MI is not scripted at all.
What else? Charlene.
There's many different ways to reflect, and they were all good. And as you hear different people saying things like, oh, I didn't hear that, but now I do. So.
Jody.
I was going to tag team on Charlene, but I think too, just that practice and feeling the discomfort of reflecting in front of people and really building that resilience to the unexpected is so helpful.
Michael.
Yeah, we probably each have our own lens in which we reflect, right? We have a tendency to reflect in similar ways.
I find reflections incredibly creative, really. And they don't have to be right, so long as they are genuine and they serve to help the client to clarify and move forward. Anything else anyone wants to say about this before I turn it back to Amy?
I also think it might be, depending on the relationship with the client or the patient, the reflection might land really well with a particular person, but might sound out of sorts when we're just doing this exercise. So the nuance of the relationship that you have with the person that you're reflecting to plays a role as well.
All right, Jody, and then back to Amy.
Yeah, I was just going to say too, of that intention of where are we steering the conversation with the reflection? Are we steering towards change talk? Are we steering towards sustained talk? Are we steering towards strengths? There isn't a right or a wrong. It's being intentional as to where we want that conversation to move forward so that we don't stay stuck in that circle of spin.
I agree with what just Jody was saying. I just wanted to add that the other dimension of I find another dimension of reflection is non-steering. It's towards understanding, which is it's about empathy.
Yes,
which might always in MI be intentional, but before we are steering, sometimes it's preceded by aiming towards deeper understanding.
So, Amy,
wait, okay.
Coaching with a twist.
Yeah, so I'm gonna set us up for coaching with a twist, and then before we send you out into the rooms, Betsy and I will demo it. We're going to have one coach and one client in each room. If you're not a coach, don't worry about it. Have the conversation, use the MI skill of reflecting. Just have a helpful conversation with one another. If you're in that role of MI expert, or you're playing the role of the coach, you are going to only reflect, and you can only ask one question. So
it's virtually impossible to find the purpose of the conversation without any.
Yeah, but don't waste it on how are you. You get one question only. Keep a structure of the conversation. So in some way, helping the client and yourself to understand what does the client want from this conversation. If you're a coach, remember the concept of a focus and an agenda. Client, as best as possible, real play, bring a real issue. And remember, there are no bad clients. So just show up for the conversation. And again, this is for your learning. We wouldn't necessarily do it with clients that we don't ask any questions whatsoever. So Betsy, does that feel, we're going to do one round. One person will play the coach role, one person will play the client role. And I think the round is for 10 minutes.
And I
Yes.
just want to be clear, the goal in the round, one person's going to be doing real play, talking about a current problem about which they're ambivalent. Is that?
Most of the time people are ambivalent.
Our current problem. Okay, so they'll
bring something
it.
that you would like to have a conversation about. Yeah.
All right, and the coach's job is to clarify and understand using reflections.
They not necessarily just to clarify and understand, but also to help the client to move forward. And we'll demonstrate.
Got it. Oh, okay. Got it. Sorry.
And take your time. You'll see in our demo that we take our time here. So. Okay.
So Betsy will be our coach, and I'm going to be the client, and I'm bringing something real.
All right. Good to see you, Amy.
Good to see you, Betsy.
You look very thoughtful right now.
I am very thoughtful. I had this moment at the refrigerator this morning where I opened it up and realized that my youngest child, who's now 17, will not be in the house anymore next year. And I had like a real coming to terms moment. My stomach just dropped, and realizing that I have been waking up for 26 years to the school schedule, and that will no longer be waking me up next year. And in addition to feeling very happy and very sad that my child's leaving, it's more about how do I get up, how do I get up and make a meaningful routine for myself.
So really hear how much you love your kids and have loved raising them. And also how important routine is for you, and that you're looking for what's next for you.
Yeah, I have, it's true. I really, really enjoy my kids. And I'm aware that without that 7:30, we're fortunate enough to be as late as 7:30, wake up, it makes me feel a little anxious to think, well, what's the right time and how do I start my day if it's not built around a kid, which has really become my default.
So you really thrive in connection and, with other people. And you know what works for you and what calms your anxiety.
Yeah. I think it is an important point that connection is helpful in my morning. And finding meaning will be very outside of what has been the norm, is going to be really important, because the way that I start my day and the time that I start my day will often sets the mood for the rest of the day.
So routine is about meaning, or meaning and routine are fused in some way.
Yeah, very fused. I guess what I'm really afraid of is if Monday through Friday, let's say, if I'm like not getting up with clear intention and meaning, that over time anxiety will really build. And I'm much better at having an external reason to do something as opposed to doing it for myself. So if I say you're going to get up at 8 every morning, I certainly get up at 8 every morning. If I have to get up at 7:30 because I want to just be there as my kids going to school, make them something to drink, make them their lunch, even though they are more than capable of doing it themselves, it's them that creates. So what is the external that will help me get up in the morning is what I'm really wondering for myself.
One of the things I'm hearing is the value of service.
But being in service to my cats is not.
Mm.
Well, I think what is coming clear to me, though, is that in having this conversation, is that I do need to find a meaningful reason to get up in the morning, and work for me is one of them. I love my work. So that's one piece. And there are a couple of other things that I can think about, but I think it needs to be meaningful, and the meaning needs to come from outside of myself. And that's really helpful.
So as we bring this conversation to a close, what are you most excited about in this next part of your journey?
What does excite me is now feeling more free to roam and adventure a little bit. For many reasons, as my kids have gotten older and they go through high school, it almost feels more and more important to be present, even if they don't need me. And so I feel very tied to this routine and being here. And as they go and free themselves up for, to go to college and to study what they want to study, I'm excited to go work somewhere else for a week, see something else, or, to go somewhere else and be able to have a little bit more of a sense of freedom.
More freedom, but keep the connection.
Mm-hmm.
So we're going to stop here and invite your reflections, questions, thoughts about that, and what will help you to then go out and do it. And the answer to Gary is no, you do not switch roles. We'll just do one round. So you'll be in one or the other role. Stephen.
Maybe you were laying the groundwork for where we were going, but you talked about reflection with a twist. So in your last reflection, it took me off guard. Amy seemed to handle it, but I felt really overwhelmed compassionately with Amy's your sense of loss and my identification as a much older man, but I'm dealing with my own aging issues, and how to divert my attention from loss to hope or optimism. So, Betsy, I may have missed it because if not listening carefully enough, but Amy was filled with loss and your empathy, and you said, so what makes you feel better, or what makes you feel looking forward to, or what do you look forward to in this? And I thought that was either picking up on something she said, or I'm thinking, unless I missed it, that she didn't say it and you were reflecting with a twist, and she didn't respond like, what are you talking about? There's nothing. She said, oh, as if she had been thinking that she picked up on. So you really redirected towards hope, from what I heard, unless I missed some stuff.
I hear the critique. I wanted to say that the coaching with the twist has nothing to do with, it's only that we tied, the twist part is just that you can only reflect. It's not what
I didn't mean it as a critique, actually. I was complimenting and admiring, but anyway.
But let's ask Amy how she received all that. Yeah. What was that like for you?
Well, I think so. In the context, I knew Betsy was closing the conversation because she said that. I was a little surprised by the question. It was the one question that she had, and I appreciate it because I know she knows me from both a coach and a business partner and a friend, that that's something that helps me to divert that way and to go into what's hopeful. But I do think, in listening to what you were asking, Stephen, that I started talking about that there was a sense of possibility of wanting to move into a space of, wow, I had a moment And how do I both wrestle and solve this problem for myself so that in the future I have these moments of sadness, but I don't necessarily, I know what my answer is. So
yeah. And any of these directions could be useful. The empathy, the possibilities, and depends on who you're with. And certainly if it's the first time you're with someone, we want to go a little bit further in the empathy direction. Yeah. Sarah.
Yeah, thanks, Betsy. It's so vulnerable doing this in a group of people. So thank you for being willing to show this. I heard a lot of like grieving with Amy, but also this curiosity of what's next in her life, you know, with this kind of void. And what I really appreciated, Betsy, was just the slowness, that it wasn't rushed. It was just giving Amy time to, you know, process her feelings. And I didn't count, but I'm guessing the reflection to question ratio was probably 10 to 1, you know, and so often in our conversations, I'll speak for myself, I'm jumping into the question more frequently to get to a solution or an answer or something. So it was just nice. The pace was slow. And for someone who's a speedier person myself, I appreciated the slowness, that it could be more thoughtful, and kind of go there. So thank you.
Amy, I think we should go do the breakout so everyone can this.
I just want to see if anyone can raise their hands if they can't be in a breakout room, because I have one room of 3, which is fine.
And Christina and Jan, are you here and available for this?
Yep.
Okay,
that's
great.
Christina.
Yes.
Yes.
Great.
And if you need, I'm happy to be an observer if you want to put me in a 3.
And Florence, where are you at?
Yes. My English is not that good when I'm talking, so I'm French. So I understood 99% of what you've said till the beginning, but I don't think I can be a coach in English. I don't have enough vocabulary, you know.
No problem.
You'll be a client, Lawrence.
I just want to say I speak French fluently. I'd be very happy to be paired up with Florence.
Parfait.
And
Merci,
we can do our session in French.
I love it. Here, I'm going to put people accordingly, and we're going to send you out. Thank you.
And Amy, make it 12 minutes.
12 minutes?
Yeah, or even 11, I think would be
okay. There we go. I'm going to open the rooms and send you out.
Have fun. And Jody, maybe we pause the recording just for while they're out.
Thanks, Jody. So we're just going to let everyone come back, and then we will, they'll be back in about 20 seconds. They're all going to get thrown back in here, and then we will start to wrap up.
Sarah is amazing.
What was that, Gary?
I said Sarah is amazing. Sorry to put you on the spot.
Say it again, yeah.
So welcome, everyone. And I would, we'd love to hear, what did you learn from that experience? What are you learning overall as we begin to close our session?
So I was the observer, and I appreciated the patience with the client having their chance to kind of process through, verbalize, like what are the issues at hand, some ambivalence, and actually desires, that kind of thing. It's just listening through that. And then the facilitator, I guess, whatever, where we want to call him, is a Gary, could reflect back with her, and that was awesome.
Yes, so that patience and presence. Michael.
Yeah, just what a joy it is to connect with somebody and just asking them, a curious question and then simple reflections and just giving them space. So it really was a gift. It was a gift. Thank you.
Thank you, Marianne.
Yes, with Florence, it was just amazing how deep we could go into the ambivalence with her reflections, which were really right on and succinct. They didn't have to be really, really long, but just to the point. And I never thought I could go that deep into what my ambivalence was about. But with her reflections, it really helped me get a better grasp on what this means to me, this ambivalence. So I really felt like I went very far in terms of understanding my ambivalence and also looking at the change talk. So it was a great session. Merci, Florence.
Ashley, thank you. Thank you, Marianne.
I just thought it was such a great example of the need to be in the moment and the improv of it all, frankly. When looking at, so we didn't have here is the behavior change I want to engage in, which is a super common scenario, but it was a reminder that that being in the moment is the only way to really listen and to really help explore with the person you're speaking with. In absence of that, it wouldn't have made sense for me to say, oh, okay, and here's some reassurance for that, and here's how I would recommend you fix this. It would be really a failure on my part to appreciate the complexity of the person I'm speaking with, to not really be in the moment with them like this.
Gary.
Sarah brought up something about, oh no, my thing was something I was depressed about today. And Sarah, through her reflections, helped me kind of be able to look around it a little bit and find the joy in these things. And, it helped me discover a whole new perspective in myself, which is quite wonderful.
So by tying your hands and not allowing for questions, it created an entry to greater depth and presence. And as Betsy put, kind of turned the flame down. Probably shouldn't use that right now. Turned down that fixing reflex. Charlene.
Stephen did a really good job coaching my situation, and I don't even know if he asked me a question, to be honest. I think he did it all with I can't remember now. I did it with reflection, so many, that it became really clear for me and a whole new perspective on something I was kind of struggling with. So definitely great job.
It's interesting for me, since you brought that up, Charlene. Yeah, I was conscious of not asking any questions. And I know I was allowed one. So towards the end, I actually was ready to ask a question. And I did so. It took some effort. I see we're short on time to try to turn it into a reflection. I'm on the fence now if it was more powerful, but it was certainly a useful exercise to I do a lot of reflections anyway in my practice. But anyway, I appreciate you pointing that out, Charlene, and it was a useful exercise to even at the point where I was going to use my question. I said, "Oh, let's see if I can do a reflection," and it seemed to be useful.
So stretching that even further. Jody, I want to just check in with you to see if you need any time to close this session.
Well, were there other comments that anyone feels a burning desire to share before we wrap for today?
I know Sarah.
Thanks, Sarah.
Does this group meet regularly to practice? I am looking for like practice groups. Is this something that you do regularly?
And Ned and Stephen jump in here is really a place for us to share different work in motivational interviewing and as well in coaching in the healthcare field. So sometimes it will be something like this as far as practice. And other times it will maybe be sharing on research or how someone has implemented or integrated MI or coaching into their particular practice. But Betsy and Amy also do have practice groups through BNA mentor coaching. And we'll put that, thank you very much for putting that link back in. I was going to say, somebody put BNA mentor coaching back in the link so you can find those various practice groups there.
We will put up new practice groups as this one fills. It's almost full, so there's not pressure to, there'll be another one. It's not, you snooze, you lose, you're in. In terms of our book, it's going to be called Coaching with a Twist, Improv for Coaches, and it should be out later this year. I'd love to say it's coming out tomorrow, but as Betsy always tells me, no, it's going to be another number of months. You need to be patient. And Betsy, did you want to share anything about the book and what it's about?
Well, it just has, tons and tons of different exercises that you can do to really work on a variety of different skills that are useful to coaches and those who use MI. So, if you get on our mailing list, you'll be the first to hear about it and to learn more. And we'll send out some chapters and things like that. But it's really a guide for practice, whether formal or informal.
Thank you for having us.
I know we could continue the conversation. There's so much to continue to learn. And I just want to say a heartfelt and large thank you to both Amy and Betsy for the gift of your time, the gift of your skills, and the gift of helping us to be more present and to become more comfortable and resilient in the unexpected, because that's what coaching is all about.